Good evening, everyone. My name is Becca, and I'm a senior sales coordinator with the Juice Plus company. And I am so excited to have you all on this call tonight, or if you're watching the recording, we're so excited that you're taking some time to invest in yourself and to learn more. So I have my dear friend on here tonight, Miss Heather Wanke R.D., and whatever other letters she has behind her name. Who I am just so excited for her to share, because every time I hear her speak, I learn something new. So get your listening ears on, get your mind open, and get ready to have your mind blown by the one and the only Heather Wanke.
I don't know about all that. I'm just going to kind of share my journey and my passion and like, how does somebody become so passionate about like fruits and vegetables? So, and I have just like some bullet points that I wrote down because I am super passionate about this, and I could literally go on like bunny trail after bunny trail. We could be here all night. So I was like, okay, Heather, you got to like stay on point. So, well, I'm super excited just to be on the call tonight. I love sharing just my heart and my journey and a little bit about health. I am a registered dietitian. My background's in obviously nutrition. I have my master's degree from Middle Tennessee State University here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and became a dietitian in 2007 and worked in the weight loss field. Worked for 2 bariatric surgeons and ran a non-surgical and surgical weight loss program when I worked for them. And, I think my whole passion for nutrition really started in the early 90s. I'm dating myself when I was in college because of my own struggles with weight. And that's just kind of where I want to start my story. Growing up, I played various sports all throughout childhood, all throughout high school. I had a mother who was wise beyond her years and cooked really healthy meals for us. And all of that changed when I went to college. I obviously did not have my mother there to cook me my meals, and I was not active at all. So I was eating dorm food and restaurant food. And by the end of my freshman year, I had gained more than 50 pounds. And that's 50. That is not the freshman 15. I blew that out of the water, like, I don't know, probably month 3 or 4. And I was having a really good old time. And I still remember to this day, like my aha moment, my wake up call, if you will. A friend of mine had asked me to go on a run with him, and he was going to be running 3 miles. And track was one of the sports I pretty much excelled in high school. And I thought, I got this. I can run 3 miles. And to my shock, I could not even run 1 mile at the age of 19. And so that was the moment, honestly, that like I just knew I needed to change. And so thank God I had moved out of the dorms. I had my own apartment. And I started cooking for myself and grocery shopping and just started to really pay attention, I think like most Americans, to carbs and protein and fat and portion control. And that did work for me for a while. I was able to get most of my weight off. But as my health journey continued, my focus really started to shift away from weight loss and toward health, because the two are not the same. We do some crazy stuff in this country to lose weight. Trust me, I have like cabbage soup diet, Dolly Parton diet, grapefruit diet. Like I hear it all. Stuff I've never even heard of that people do to lose weight. And so, I really started to become a reader. And again, I'm dating myself. This is in the early 90s. Google did not exist. And so if you wanted to know something, like you actually had to go read a book, okay, or a magazine. And so I wasn't at the bars drinking anymore. So I would go to the library and like read stuff. Wow, what a concept. And so, the more I learned, the more I wanted to know. I wanted to know what was in my food. What were those ingredients that I couldn't pronounce? How were my fruits and vegetables grown? What about the animals I were eating? Like, how were they treated? What were they fed? What impact was that having on my body and my health? And I quickly learned that not all calories are created equal. The whole concept of like calorie in, calorie out, like you can eat this many calories and burn this calorie and be good, is a total myth, because not all calories are equal. 100 calories that I'm eating from kale and broccoli and blueberries is doing something physiologically completely different than 100 calories coming in. At that time, I was eating like fat-free, healthy choice ice cream, okay? So one was totally breaking my body down, and the other was trying to heal it. And it was in like the really early 90s, 94, 95, that the whole like discovery and science of plant nutrition really started to take off. Like all the stuff we take for granted that we know now about plant foods was just really being discovered in the 90s. And so I started learning about, you know, plants, and they had these compounds that could behave like medicine inside of our bodies, but with none of the side effects. And I think people have known for years that plant foods are good for them. We just didn't have the science to prove it. And now we do. I mean, if you think back to Hippocrates, that was well over 2,000 years ago. He said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And when you really look at what he was talking about plant foods. And thanks to the advances in science, right, we know that plant foods have a life force. They are living foods. Well, guess what, guys? We are living beings comprised of trillions of living cells that thrive when we eat plant foods. They have fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, antioxidants, thousands of these disease-fighting compounds. A single serving of fresh, and that's a key word, and I'll explain why here in a moment. Fresh means vine ripened and recently picked fruits and vegetables. Okay, just one serving has anywhere from 10 to 12,000 different phytonutrients in it. That is just, it blows my mind, right? That is how awesome our plant foods are. And so why I stress the word fresh is because today most of the produce, at least in our country, other countries do it differently, but I love America. Today's produce is no longer allowed to ripen on the vine. And why that is so important, so really, okay, what that means, if you don't know about farming, because I used to work on an organic farm when I was in graduate school, when produce is picked, it starts to lose its nutrition. So when you pick it early, which is what's happening in our country, okay, we're picking it well before it's ripe. So we're picking it early when it's green. So I like to make this like click in your head. How many of you guys, and you guys can just raise your hand, have gone to the store and seen green bananas? I've got some downstairs, okay, right? Or tried to get some strawberries and maybe the top of it was still green. Sometimes half of the berry is like white or green, right? Has anybody experienced that? Yes. Okay, that is why, because that is plucked off way, way early while it's still green. Also, it doesn't rot in transit. And one of the first things I try to teach people to do is to pay attention to the stickers and look where your food is coming from. Because note I said, it doesn't rot in transit. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Pay attention to the stickers. Like, yes, we have food that comes in from Florida and California, but it's also coming in from China, Brazil, Guatemala, Mexico. It is coming in from everywhere. The average piece of produce in this country travels roughly 1,800 to 2,000 miles before it ever touches our plate. Okay, that is a problem because, like I said, as soon as produce is picked, it starts to lose its nutrition. Well, when it's being picked early, it is usually warehoused for a couple of weeks, then it's loaded onto a truck or a ship, and then it's shipped halfway across the country or halfway across the world. And most people are totally shocked. I know I was when I first started really learning how old our food is in supermarkets, okay? And I don't want to gross you out, but you guys kind of need to know what's going on. So, you know, your average piece, let's just say of lettuce, head of lettuce in the grocery store is usually about 3 to 4 weeks old. Carrots are anywhere from 6 to 9 months old. Potatoes are so heavily sprayed with pesticides that they are typically warehoused at least 6 months just to allow for off-gassing, okay? Most potato farmers grow their own potatoes for themselves and then mass produce other potatoes. That's how heavily potatoes are sprayed. And then apples, I know Becca wanted me to make sure I mentioned this one, are at least 1 year old. 1 year old. And that explains like why when you bite into an apple, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's experienced this, like it's all like mealy and grainy. That's probably when you have like a 2-year-old apple. And so like when I first started learning this, like one of my husband's really good friend, he was in our wedding, lives in Michigan, Leslie, and is an apple grower. He's a 4th generation apple grower. And so when I started reading this, like I honestly was just in disbelief. So Jerome, my husband, was like, well, let's call Mike and ask. So we were like, Mike, are apples like anywhere from like 1 to 3 years old? And he like, it was nothing. He was like, well, yeah, apple season like season's short. It's a cool weather crop. We only grow apples from like September to November and then we're done. And I was like, he's like, then we put them in a cooler, refrigerate them, and yeah, we warehouse them for a good year. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it just clicked on me. I guess I did think about it, but you know, that was at least 12 or 13 years ago when I started learning this. Like, we have lost seasons in grocery stores. So you just like heard me say, because I learned it through him, that it's a cool season crop. Well, here it is May. I can walk into any single grocery store and find an apple. Well, guess what? That apple could have been from last growing season. Like we just have absolutely no clue. And so really what I feel like has happened is just kind of this like perfect storm where, you know, we have huge soil depletion problems. I do a whole other talk where I talk about just how depleted our soil is. Studies of U.S. land has shown that over the last 100 years, our soil has been depleted of almost 85% of its mineral content. Well, food is only as healthy as the soil it's grown in. So if our soil really doesn't have good minerals in it, then our food is going to be deficient. Then we also obviously have food that's picked really early, right? We've already stated that when it's green, which causes it to be void of nutrition because it's really in those last weeks to days where about almost 90% of those phytonutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants are compacted into the plant. Then we have food that's traveling halfway across the country, halfway across the world. And then my frustration was the average American is only eating 2 to 2.5 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables per day. And to be honest, that was usually fruit and not vegetables. It was like a banana in the morning and an apple at lunch or for a snack. And like, they thought they were good. Their vegetable like consumption was literally almost zero. And we need to be eating anywhere from 7 to 13 servings of raw, fresh, remember fresh, vine ripened, recently picked, produce on a single daily basis. And it's really 7 if you're a child. It's 9 if you're a couch potato. It's 13 if you're an adult that doesn't exercise or have any stress. Anybody on this call have zero stress? Because I would love to meet you afterwards. And it is 16 to 18 if you are an adult that is fighting any type of chronic condition or exercises, right? Because exercise is great for us, but it also causes something called free radical production. And without proper nutrition can actually aid you and cause more damage than good. And I love exercise, but if you're an exerciser on the call, then you've got to make sure that you're really doing your due diligence to flood your body with as much plant nutrition as you possibly can. And so obviously as a registered dietitian, I'm always going to recommend food first. But here's the problem with that. People don't comply, okay? Imagine my frustration. I'm in my mid-40s. I've been studying this since I was 19. Felt like I found the answer to solve the world's problems. I'm going to like get all these people to eat fruits and vegetables because I really understood it was getting back to the basics. Like we've made health really complicated and it's so simple. It's eating as much plant foods as you possibly can, drinking water, exercising, stress reduction, sleeping. That's it. That's our perfect picture to health. But, you know, we don't do it. And when you really understand what's going on in that perfect storm that I kind of already outlined, really, unless you are growing every single piece of food that you are putting inside of your body, you need something to bridge the gap. Some people have a gap. Some people have a canyon to bridge. I literally counseled people who ate maybe canned green beans once a week and they thought they were good. Like, so the divide is huge for some people. Sorry, my cat. And that is exactly why I love, take, and recommend a product called Juice Plus. I think the thing that really attracted me to Juice Plus was that it was food with a food label and not a supplement with a supplement label. That is really what caught my attention. I had known enough not to take a multivitamin myself. I did not believe in multivitamins. And quite frankly, I think a lot of dietitians don't believe in multivitamins. I'm not sure if they're all current on the research, but I think as time goes on, it's already kind of been proven that they're poorly absorbed by the body. And some evidence is coming out now that they actually could be causing more harm than good. And I think as time goes on, the case is going to become stronger for that. And so I just love the fact that it was food. It came with the food label. And I really was attracted to how it was made, that, they take the whole food. When I say it's a whole food concentrate, the whole food is in there, right? I'm going to date myself again, but there used to be these like Prego commercials with these little Italian families mom was cooking dinner and she was using a jarred sauce, right? And these little Italian boys were like, "Ma, what about the garlic?" And she was like, "It's in there." "What about the onion?" "It's in there." And that's how I feel about Juice Plus. Like, it's in there. It is the seeds, the skin, the peel, the pulp, like everything is in there. And why that appealed to me is because at the time I heard about Juice Plus, I am a little like health conscious. I was juicing. Not only was I juicing, I was paying a farmer locally to grow all of my food seasonally, locally, and organically. I was driving a little over an hour one way to pick up that food on a weekly basis. And whenever I couldn't cook, we were juicing to try to flood our bodies with as much nutrition as we possibly could, because my husband and I both have things in our family history that, quite frankly, we don't want to sign up for. And I knew that plants were the number one way to prevent disease and really protect your DNA and fight, genetics. And so when I got that Juice Plus was juicing made easy, it was just like, hello, where has this been all my life? Of course, people did try to tell me about it. So I will tell you, it took me 7 years, to even listen to a single person about Juice Plus. But once I did, I got it. And so it was juicing made easy. And so I just thought, okay, wait a second. So I can just pay Juice Plus to grow all of my food in awesome soil. They only use vine-ripened produce. It's non-genetically modified food. And they can juice it for me, and all I have to do is take it with water. Like, hello, sign me up. My juicer, literally now is in my pantry. I juice for funsies when I want to, and quite frankly, that's hardly ever. Maybe once a month, or if I'm around a bunch of sick people, I might go get some carrots and ginger and oranges and whip something up. I hardly ever juice now. I still eat a ton of plant-based foods, but the chopping, slopping, mopping, it was fun for about 2 days. And so now, I just use Juice Plus to bridge that gap. And I think another thing that appealed to me too was that it's certified by an independent third-party company it's an NSF label. And that guarantees not only the consumer, but the company of the purity of the product. Every single batch of Juice Plus is tested 6 different times from farm to capsule, and it's guaranteed, and this is what that seal guarantees, that it is free of any contaminant known to man. There is no pesticide, herbicide, fungicide, bacteria, mold, heavy metals. We test for things that the organic standard does not test for. So to me, it's beyond organic. And so I love that, because that just gives me really great peace of mind that what I'm recommending and putting in my own body is super, super safe. And then obviously, as a dietitian. I love that it's backed by research. We have 37 published studies to date from reputable universities and journals all over the world: Vanderbilt, Wake Forest, Yale, MD Anderson, just to name a few, who have their reputations at risk and, put their reputation behind our products. So if it's good enough for Yale and Vanderbilt, it's definitely good enough for me. And so, the top 3 trends right now in the nutrition field are vertical gardening, protein powders and bars, and whole food concentrates replacing multivitamins. Those are the 3 things right now that are taking the nutrition field by storm. And guess what? We have the best of all 3. Woo, woo. Absolutely, bar none, the best of all 3. And I think what I love about our products is that they only serve one purpose, and that is to help people get more fruits and vegetables into their diet. And that is just a product line and a mission that I can get behind. And that's why I was attracted to the business, the simplicity of it. I knew as soon as I understood what Juice Plus was and how narrow our product line and what our mission was, that I was going to be sharing it with people that I love and people that were coming to me, as clients. And the whole idea of owning my life and being able to create financial freedom and time freedom really appealed to me. I think no matter who you are or what you do, I think it's fair to say that we all trade time for money. And something I didn't mention was, before I became a dietitian, I worked for corporate America for almost 9 years. And when I think about owning my life, they owned my life. They told me when I had to show up at work every single day, how long I had to be at work, what time I could leave, when I could vacation, if I could vacation. It was competitive to get it, and people who somewhat were tenured got it, and then how long I could vacation for. They dictated how many days off per year I got. So they completely owned my life, and I found a better way, and I was attracted to it. And so working part-time for the last 5 years, I now have been able to retire from my full-time career, and I wake up to purpose and passion every single day, and I get to live the life of my dreams and help other people do the same, and I absolutely love that. And the mission of our company is to inspire healthy living around the world. And, we believe that extends to more than just health. It's really about having the time, the finances, and the freedom to do what you love, and having the incredible health to enjoy every single bit of that. And I kind of just want to leave you with our founder's vision statement, because it's really what inspired me to make a change. His vision statement, his name is Jay Martin, was to create a stable and lasting company to help as many people as possible realize their dreams. And he has absolutely done his part. She said, "Don't stop, you're fascinating." Thank you, Tracy. I don't know who you are, but thanks. To inspire healthy, vision statement, sorry. And he's done his part. This company has been around for over 40 years. Juice Plus has been on the market for over 25 years. We are a rock solid company. We're privately held, debt-free, over 10 billion in sales, double-digit sales for the last 20 years. So we are rock solid. The only part left is for all of us to dream. And that's what I want to leave you with tonight. I want to challenge each and every one of you to give yourself permission to dream. Because quite frankly, before I found the Juice Plus company, or before Juice Plus found me, however I want to look at that, God knew what he was doing when he put it in my life. I wasn't dreaming. Every day of my life was pretty much like Groundhog Day. I got up, I did the same thing. I went to bed, got up, and it was wash, rinse, and repeat. And this has given me permission to dream. And so that's what I want to leave you with tonight. No matter what your dream is, how big or small, my next dream is retiring my husband. I've been able to retire myself, and now we're working on bringing him home so we can be free to give and be free to go. You know, I'm just a big believer that we only get one shot at this life. Life is short and it's precious, and we need to spend it with the ones we love and doing what we love. So no matter what your dream is, maybe it's fun, maybe it's freedom, maybe it's friends, maybe it's financial. Maybe it's you want to be home with your kids so daycare isn't raising them and you're not missing all of the first. Or maybe you're super young and you're thinking about kids in the future, but you know that you want to be home with your children. Maybe it's paying off student loans. Maybe it's a vacation fund. Maybe it's just fun money, taking the stress off your husband. Whatever it is, there is room for you and your dream in our marketing plan and in our company. So I just want to inspire you guys to come on along and start dreaming. That's it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh my goodness. Heather, you never cease to amaze me. And I love so much of what you said. And every time you talk about like how old our food is, I like have to rethink what I'm going to buy at the grocery store. Like, cause I really, you know, that's so true. Like we don't think about that so much of the time. And then what you ended with like giving us permission to dream again. Cause I was same way, like before Juice Plus found me, or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
I lost my ability to dream. Cause I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to work a 9 to 5, or it's just going to be the way that it is. And I had forgotten until Juice Plus found me that as a young child, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but I also wanted to be a high-powered businesswoman. But I never thought that I would be able to be both at the same time. And now, I mean, I'm not pregnant, but now whenever I do have kids, I will be able to stay home with them. And I am a freaking high-powered businesswoman. So it's an awesome feeling to be able to do that. And I'm in the same boat you are. I retired myself in December, and now we're working on retiring my husband. So it's so awesome, y'all. It's very real. And it, like with the health part, I've had it all. Like it's helped me like take my health back, take my dreams back, take my finances back. It's just really the real deal. So I failed to mention at the beginning of this call, because I just got home like less than 10 minutes before the call started, that my good friend Leslie, is hosting this call with me. And so I wanted her to share some of her takeaways from Heather's talk as well.
My goodness, there's so many. And I met Heather 5 years ago now. We met at a Juice Plus Live event. And every time that I get to hear her speak, I'm just so inspired, and I learn so much from her each time. And so I just want to thank you, Heather, for coming on and inspiring us all and sharing your passion and your heart with us. And we just really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Woo! Well, do y'all enjoy her talk? Did everybody at least learn one thing? If so, raise your hands. Raise your hand. I see all those hands. I'm going to double
you upstairs and throw out apples.
Oh my goodness. Well, this past fall, we actually went to an orchard and bought our apple. Oh, we like picked them. And I'm like, oh, this is what real apples are supposed to taste like.
Right?
So it was
funny. I had a friend up in Wisconsin who did the same thing. She went to the only organic apple orchard in Wisconsin, and guess what? They're Juice Plus growers.
That's the best.
Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
She like got a whole basket full of apples and was like, "Oh my God, I've never had apples that tasted this good." Yeah,
man, maybe that should be our mission this fall, y'all, to find an organic apple orchard and go and pick it and eat it and see what it really tastes like.
Right?
Fresh and vine ripened. So, all right, I'm going to stop the call, or I'm stop the recording.